Hi, and welcome to Currency Podcast episode 124. And we're back after a hiatus of sorts. I didn't know I'd ever even make another episode, and wow, I've really overcome a lot to be sitting in front of you here today. This is my vlog. This is the show starring me, and it's not even good, unfortunately, and it sucks a good portion of the time. This is my show, definitely starring me. It's a vehicle for myself, created, produced, written, edited by me. Am I a star? It's stunning how much of a star that I am. The lights are too bright in here often. You can tell if you're watching the image just how bright it is in my apartment, how well lit it is all the time, as a reflection of my star power. And I'm just brimming with star power and confidence like 1,000% of the time. What is it that here's a nice little thought that I've had before, which is that grace and beauty and confidence are all part of the same smorgasbord. And that is to say that, well, actually what I mean to say is that it's better to have experience than it is to have confidence. Because confidence is kind of just a vibe that you're giving yourself. It's just I mean, that can delve into a lot of imagination rather than real life action. If it's confidence, you would rather have authority. That's what I'm saying. Authority is better than confidence every single time, and authority only comes with experience. And this is a lesson that I've learned in the past year. I've grown. I'm grown now. Wow. I'm starstruck. I'm starstruck with how much of a star that I am. I can't even see. It's so bright in here. I can't see ever. Because I don't really look at the specifics of things. But this is my vlog. This is my vlog, day 124, same place. Is it okay that I didn't have any destinations for this vlog? I just had one apartment. Is that alright? Okay, so rather than be overly exasperated, overly stimulated, let me take a moment of pause, of calm, and of peacefulness, and explain to you. Let's take a look at the FedEx Cup standings for my career. I'm in 10th place. I don't know, I get bored at this part. It's because I just don't believe anybody cares about the FedEx Cup standings. But I'm in 10th, and how many events do we have left here? We're at the 15th event of, oh my god, 33 total events. I am barely excited to play any one of them because none of them are majors. I think you might get to play the Masters if I got the new PGA Tour game, but I already bought this one before the new one came out because I didn't want to, because I needed to start recording these episodes right away, and I knew that the new one was coming out, but I couldn't wait. This is my starring show. This is my starring role, is just myself, just as I sit. It could have been a Twitch stream. I could have been chill. I could have been chill and not had this show, you know, where I'm explaining something about me like it's a vlog, because it could just be a Twitch stream, and then that would be a hell of a lot more chill. But this is just like all eyes on me in the center of the ring, just like a circus. That's kind of what, that's just like 24/7. for everybody, you know. What a universal song, what a personal message that anybody could take something away. Because for everybody as they walk around just in life, it's kind of a little bit of all eyes on me in the center of the ring, just like a circus. Okay. I should really spare my giggles so that people don't think I'm repulsive. You know, because if you laugh at the things that you say. Let me tell you about my life. Let me tell you events from my life so that you know how enriched you're about to be, so I can enrich you. Wait till you hear this enrichment coming out of my mouth. You're gonna be enriched. You're gonna get rich. Puerto Rico right now. Puerto Rico up in here. Rich port. Costa Rica, rich coast. Costa Rica, rich coast. Puerto Rico, rich port. Cuba, Cuba. Dominica, Dominica. Haiti, third world country. Fourth world country. That's what people like to say to really exaggerate it. Like, Haiti is actually a fourth world country, and it's over in the Western Hemisphere. We did it. America's not culpable for that at all. Oh my god, Haiti sucks so much that it's a fourth world country. And America's right in its backyard, too. That's gotta sting. We're rich as fuck, and Haiti is whatever. Haiti's right over there, and they're slumming a little bit. Is that okay to say? Is that politically correct? Haiti is kind of slumming. Slimming. Haiti is really slimming. I mean, they don't got a lot of people. They're kind of malnourished, so they're both slumming and slimming. They're slumming over in Haiti. Sled dogging. Bobsled. Jamaica. Let's get together and feel alright. Or we don't have to. It's not necessary that that happens. Let's get together and feel uncomfortable. Jamaica. Let's not necessarily get together in any sort of way. I could have done stand-up tonight. That's what I was going to do. I was going to say, oh, here's some things from my life. Here's something from my life. There's a strange phenomenon occurring near my tonsils. And, like, my tongue is going numb sometimes. And the way that I talk normally has been affected in some way. Where it's like my mouth is dry. I don't really know if I have a cold or what. Or like, maybe I'm just moving my tongue around too much. That thought has occupied my brain, literally. Occupy Wall Street is that thought in my brain. The idea that my tongue is moving around too much just when I'm idle is Occupy Wall Streeting my brain. And it was difficult for me to coordinate that sentence. Am I getting stupider? Well, yeah. You know, am I getting stupider? Am I getting worse? Am I getting worse? Am I getting worse at this podcast? Yeah. But that's a good thing, because who wants to have a loner podcast? I'm getting worse at it, meaning I make fewer episodes. But I've got a special surprise later on related to this podcast headed your way. It'll be a big shindig of sorts where I'm gonna tokenize the episodes with NFTs like I've been thinking about doing. That I had previously disavowed, but it's gonna be back on, and please don't stampede over people on your way to buy those NFTs, which I know that you will undoubtedly seek to do. Let me tell you about my life. My life as I see it, in my own words, by me, circa me, circa my own words, in my own words, my memoirs, my explanations of what it is that I look like in my eyes. How I came to be, in my own words, by me, my memoirs. They're going to be tokenized with NFTs coming up pretty soon. These, my memoirs. It's really repulsive when somebody records themselves for 125 hours in a row. I don't know how to make heads or tails of it. But my future is short-circuiting and not coming to fruition as it stands now. But I can picture that, I can envision that things will be going really well for me into the future. And that's all that matters. It's in lieu of real life action and real life ability to make good on beliefs that you have. Sometimes it's fun to have delusions that you pretend will come true. Like one day I will be a famous comedian. One day I will be a famous something. I don't know. But it is slowly dawning on me that, you know, I'm never really going to amount to anything of any, like, majorly notable, noteworthy value, probably. But it doesn't matter, because you can just be famous where you are. I mean, it's not that I want to be famous, I just want to be... I just want to be recognized. Those are similar. I just want people to recognize me, and I want people to give me credit. I want to be recognized. I'd love to explain to you all of the goings on in my life, but okay, so 13 minutes. 13 minutes here. 13 minutes. Yeah, there's some sort of tension in the back of my mouth. It's the boogeyman. The boogeyman lives in my throat. It's pretty sexy. I hope that didn't turn you off. It shouldn't have. Quite the opposite turned me on. I get hard over anything. I don't care what's happening. I'm getting hard. Just, you know, sight. Things that just seeing things, colors makes me hard. Just seeing different colors on, you know, on things. Different colors on things. Yeah, I'm developing a stutter because of my... I have a flu or the flu or something, and it's making me slur my words. I swear I'm not on any drugs. I'm just kidding. I'm actually not, but... yeah, just colors makes me... That's kind of my sexuality. Just get an erection every time that it's just like seeing things. So the frequencies of light, and you know, and you can't control it, and then just comes easy to me. I flash erections. That's what I call them. I call them that. I tell people that that's what they are called. They are that. That is what they are called, and convey the message. When to other people, I explain it. I say, "Oh, sorry, I opened my eyes and got a flash erection. Don't mind me." You know, that's what I say, like, when I'm at the board meeting. I just have to go through life closing my eyes, but none of this is done to be silly or funny. This is serious. That's not, like, and if that was a serious thing. Also, like, laughing at sex is not tremendous. Joking about it, that's for Saturday Night Live. Alright, my game isn't updating. It's stuck on the same screen that for about 40 seconds now. Something like that. I just love when it doesn't... I don't really care. It's just a moment where I appear that I'm angry because I think that somebody wants to see it, maybe, somewhere. Someone will get a kick out of me losing my shit over this screen, but, I mean, I guess they would if I was able to sell it, but I'm really not that angry. I'm not that motivated, and I'm not that enthusiastic. Do you want to... Who wants to keep listening? I'm lazy as shit. You want to hear some of this? I'm not a hard worker. Listen to my podcast. I kind of like to cut corners, and I like to take the easy way out and try to get lucky anytime that I can. Please listen to my podcast. I have learned recently that it is fun to talk shit to people. I didn't know... I mean, I don't know what I knew. It's just that somebody referred to somebody referred to me talking to people as shit talking. And I think that the Christians have just been keeping it a secret from me my entire life. It's kind of like the word gaslight. Like, my personality before I heard the word gaslight was gaslit, I think. It's like, it's a good thing that somebody made that word. I think I benefit from it more than most people. More than most people do. Until I knew that word, I think I was just getting gaslit the entire time. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but you know, it's fun. It vacates you of responsibility when you're gaslit. Who needs to be I wonder what the opposite of gaslit is. Let me think about it. Ungaslit. I bet that there is a snappy word that you could come up with. What's the opposite of gaslit? Ungaslit. Like wet, soggy. Ungaslit. I'm saying the Christians have been hiding it from me that I could shit talk. They didn't tell me that that's what it could be described as, because they didn't want me talking any shit. They shouldn't have lied to me, those damn Christians. Damn it! I'll get them back in the end. They'll see, they'll all see. So will Jesus. So will Jesus. Yeah. I don't know, maybe Jesus just wanted to, like, rest in peace. Rest in power. If there's anybody who rested in power ever, it was Jesus. Rest in power, Jesus. Sammy Sosa. I did the Sammy Sosa on camera. In case you were just listening. Yeah, that's where I come from. Where I come from. I replicate the motions that Sammy Sosa did when he hit a home run. Where I come from. There's a corncob pipe and a button nose where I come from. Wow, I'm really gaslit today. I'm really on fire. I'm on fire. Ha 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 ha. You know, but I'm not Satan. I wish I could pull off Satan better. That's the goal. Every day be more like Satan. What would Satan do? It's a question I have to answer. The fuck would Satan do? What the fuck would Satan do is the bracelets that should be for that. WTF WSD. WTF WSD, man. Hey, guy. WTF WSD. Ever think about that? Maybe you should think about that next time you're speeding through a red light. Jackass. What a glorious approach shot. It's within 2 feet of the pin. I'd like to thank my sponsors for this moment where I hit it within 2 feet of the pin. I keep losing my sponsor because of my poor play. The Currency Podcast show starring me, starring Matt Connor, starring white person name, starring... I did stand up one time and somebody introduced me and they said, and now the whitest name I've ever heard, Matt Connor. That's pretty funny. Of course. That's funny. I love insults like that. It makes me laugh. I had a good laugh about it because I can take a joke. I don't grit my teeth when I tell people I can take a joke. I laugh genuinely. I have a smile that's convincing because it's real. Not just convincing, it's real. No sponsor contract. Well, speak of the devil. Speak of the devil. Double entendre of sorts. Weird interference pattern where I'm able to say that phrase accurately as applies to the video. When I was just talking about the devil and I was just talking about sponsors, and now this pop-up comes up, which does not come up very often, for me to choose a new contract for a new sponsor. As I was just talking about my sponsors, I'm talking about when interference and coincidence, when things are coinciding. What do you call that? Magic. That was a little piece that I like to do. It's called magic. Everything I said up until this point, that's called magic. That was a drama that I've been working pretty hard on, so I mean, that drama up until that point, I've been rehearsing day and night for weeks, and I guess I'll get sponsored by Ben Hogan. So if you would, please don't knock it until you try it out for yourself. I mean, up until that point, that was called... Now we're on to something else now that magic concluded. It's a horrible thing to have to put on your own show. And I'm excited. I will start a podcast. Next time I do podcast that I do frequently, where this one I'm just doing like once a month at most. But I'll explain the details of this project in greater detail later on as I detail it for you, using words that could be described as details to describe my project, as I give an explanation using words that somebody might describe as details that I will use to detail the ins and outs and the specifics of this project. I will make an episode later to explain in detail what's going on with this project, using descriptions that I have to explain what I'm about to do. It involves whatever. I'll wrap it up. I'll wrap up the podcast. I'll explain it, but it's not exactly. I mean, I'm just vaguely promoting a fun surprise that's really only fun in my brain, because how many people are like so on board that they like know what's going on with my podcast? Probably not too many, but I should think of them first rather than the people who don't listen. I should really just talk about the whole podcast like it's everybody knows for certain what's going on in my life. But I will be making another episode in the future that is more of a this is what this podcast is about. And wow, I guess I'm excited about it. That's why I can't stop talking about it. I can't stop promoting. I'm promoting future behavior that you'll get to watch on record, on camera. In the future, my behavior will be recorded for then later on future assessment by other people. I'll record myself, and then after that, people who watch it can assess the recording to judge it or music is taking over my brain. Sorry, I'm just reverting back to mistakes that I made during today, just in my regular life. What mistakes did I make? Oh, I maybe replied the wrong way on Twitter. What if I didn't look fun with every reply I made on Twitter? I've been making more replies on Twitter recently. I'm in a feud of sorts with my friend Dave Adams, and then my other friend Drew King is also a part of it, and it's worth it, and that's all good. I'm excited for how it turns out. It's interesting. Probably the most interesting thing that's happened to me on Twitter so far. The more I have more activity, I'm putting out more tweets, and then my friend Dave is replying to them. As a just as a fun criticism, I guess, or whatever. It's all very scary. You never know when a Twitter feud could turn badly for you or whatever. So the stakes are raised, and that's a blast. But so I'm reverting back to mistakes I made during the day, and did I make too many of them? The show must go on. The show must go on, I reckon. I guess I'm just like, I'm too afraid of the words that I say. But then recently I figured out that I like to talk shit, and then that's why I'm talking more shit on Twitter. And it's important. It's just like a matter of using your words. Um, I want to use my words more, but it's like I don't know. Criticism, all kinds of walks of life of people that I know have been criticizing me from different corners of the earth. And I don't know that it's that they're criticizing me. Maybe I just didn't know that they were criticizing me, or like that's the first time. Now I realize that people are criticizing me, and now it's just like my response is just naturally, oh, why wouldn't I be insulting you back? But I think that I was just trying to be polite for a very long time, and then and that's on God. I was trying to be polite, and that's on God. I don't think that I'm really polite. I'm just saying, recently I found out that I'm an asshole that likes to talk the talk. All I do is talk the talk, basically. So much so that I don't even need to walk the walk. I abnegate myself of those responsibilities. Who needs to walk the walk when talking the talk suffices? When all you have to do is talk the talk. I can't stop talking the talk. It never translates into action. I'm a politician. I'm a politician, y'all, but I work for the federal government, and I work for the federal government, and that kind of makes me a policeman in every place, any public place that I enter is a way that I could describe it when I think about it. You know, like I think that feds are kind of like police. They're just higher up police, but people don't normally think of it like that. But you know what? It is kind of like that. So, you know, feds are police. And so I need to quit this job, and I'm excited about quitting that job. I really want to move to Austin, Texas. I think that it's going to happen. It's just like, I don't know if I'm just like waking up to a bunch of things, or it's just that there's a lot of levels to your state of being. Let me tell you that seriously, as long as I typically talk about some sort of philosophical thing. I'm losing I'm making it less valuable to think about those things because I don't want just a solo person podcast, you know. But so I'm like, don't even think about philosophy. It's going to enable you to keep making solo person podcast episodes. Philosophy is a horrible term for it. Oh shit, what was the thing I was going to say? There are very many levels to your state of being. It goes in and out. There are very many levels to its lucidity, and people who have dementia, it's like that's a really extreme picture of just what happens in regular life. Like everybody who's walking around, they're fading in and out of more or less conscious states of being, and it's like you're relatively conscious, but there's just moments or there's times when can be at the surface more, the same way that somebody with dementia has a lucid moment. People have that just in regular life because it's just like circulating. It cycles how conscious you're going to be, how aware you're going to be. And the thing is that working for the federal government, it puts me under a little bit, like anesthesia. It puts me under to work for the government, but it puts anybody under to do any job. But if it's like, if you have a desk job, something very monotonous like that for 50 years in a row, that's just going to put you under. And all that you can rely on are like moments of lucidity. But it's not just a job, it's like everything. Relationships with people try to hypnotize you. or put you under just with their words or whatever. Like, it can be a relationship, it can be a job. But as I am nearing what appears to be the end of my job, because I do plan on quitting, even though I don't know if at this point if I'll be able to follow through, I think there's just like the anesthesia of the job that I had to take on is wearing off, and like my speech maybe feels more clear, but that's just what I feel like at the moment that I get to say that I can shit talk, is that everything kind of becomes more clear for me. Everything is better. Like, that's a higher state of being for me. That's when I am doing better, and that's higher as opposed to lower. That's higher up. I get a clearer view of things. Like, words make sense. The sentences come out of my mouth better when I don't have to be polite. It all just kind of connects, and I'm able to speak to multiple situations that overlap with each other at one time more easily, as long as I allow myself the freedom of talking, not worrying, but like otherwise, if I'm put under, I'm just hesitant, and I'm stuck under the weight of criticism, and I'm allowing criticism to tell me that I'm living in a world where I shouldn't speak. But it's like, it restricts your speech when you're not living at a higher state of being. But even as I make this podcast, it's like I go in and out of lucid. It's just relative lucidity. And going on a trip, it's about tripping. I'm not on any drugs right now. I just happen to be talking about tripping. And whatever, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds type of shit. Not that Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, apparently John Lennon said that. I heard John Lennon in an interview he did with Dick Cavett say that they didn't intend Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds to be LSD, but that's an unintentional. The fact that it becomes a phenomenon for the rest of the world does say something about its relationship to LSD. And the Beatles did take LSD, and who are we to say that the LSD might have, if John Lennon is the one who wrote it, which I think is what he was saying in this interview, why, of course the LSD might have influenced John Lennon to later, when he wasn't under the influence of it. The LSD probably pointed out to John Lennon this phrase that you could make a song about. Inadvertently, he wrote a song about LSD, I think. Like, he didn't intend to, but somebody who's taken it. Lucy was in the Sky with Diamonds, but it's a trip. You go to work, that's a trip. And what I want to do is be on a better trip. It's just that if you admit to yourself that life is a trip, then you maybe then you have the freedom to make it a good one. But it's a bad trip if you go to the same desk job every day. That's a bad trip. It's a bad trip. It's a trip either way, but it's a trip no matter what. But the entire life, like, one day is a trip, one lifetime is a trip. What kind of trip are you gonna go on, man? Is it gonna be, but I feel restricted by certain patterns, certain things I've seen, judgments, criticisms, that would cause me to, they hem you into something, boundaries that other people pose and other institutions pose, that society imposes. You can't just do whatever, because then you'll be societally unaccepted if you cross too many of the wrong boundaries. But people have compared me to Dick Cavett, Dick Cavett on the surface appears very relaxed, and he has what I would call slow wit, which is better than quick wit, probably. And he's charm and slow wit for Dick Cavett, but under the surface, he's an insufferable asshole. I guarantee you. There's no way that you would want to hang out with Dick Cavett. Maybe you don't know who Dick Cavett is. But honestly, I was watching an interview he did with Paul Simon. And Paul Simon was like, I was riding in a cab on the way over here, and the cabbie was talking about you, Dick Cavett, and he said that you're brilliant. And then the crowd all cheered. I guess Paul Simon wasn't making fun of Dick Cavett, but Paul Simon is just so smart. Like, I would trust Paul Simon's opinion so much that whatever words he was saying, I would just think, like, he must be up to something so deep. Like, why would he call Dick Cavett brilliant? Because Dick Cavett is brilliant, but he's just kind of an asshole. He's just like, he's just shitty. I don't want to be like Dick Cavett. I understand why somebody would compare me to that. It's just because he's, like, blonde or German. That's part of it, too. But he just has that insufferable, like, oh, I bet I am really expected to be special for everybody ness about him, which I may have exhibited on occasion during the course of my life, or in the past, but it's just like you fall into the patterns, and then that makes me just kind of automaton. But it's like there's just levels to this state of being just in the moment, just presently, that you can obtain, you can attain. I don't know what a person has to do to get more agency so that they can float between different states, or like become more the person that they want to be. I don't know what somebody has to do to get more agency. It's just like sometimes I'll end up looking in the mirror and I realize that, you know, it's all bullshit, the like limiting things that I might think about myself. It's like, oh wait, I remember the way that it actually is. And the way that it actually is like, it was never a matter of that I am pretentious or polite or like well-mannered or good-natured. Just like good-natured is a lesser state of being to me. Not that it would be for anybody, and not that like I'm saying it's bad to be good. It's good to be good. I want to be good. I want to be a good guy. I want to be nice. It's just that, like, for me, good nature is very halting, very freezing. Good-natured makes me into caricature. Makes me into a porcelain doll. Good-natured really freezes me. There are things that people can say to you that will freeze you or make you feel more like an image. And it's what I'm saying is that sometimes I end up looking in the mirror and I realize that all of those images are bullshit. Because I'm like, oh wait, I remember the way that it actually is. The way that it actually is so much deeper, is so much better, but I wish I could tell you, I wish I could describe to you how great it is to feel the way that I do in even better terms that I'm describing to you right now. I wish I could transcend even higher into the descriptions of my altered states of being. I wish I could I wish I could transpose a ditty for you about the life and times of me as spoken by my memoirs, in and of my words, inspired by viewers like you. Inspired by viewers like you. My mom's a viewer like you. So what have we learned? In conclusion, don't ever, 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 ever sleep on the Yankees. Never. Never sleep on the Yankees. Don't ever sleep on the Yankees. Derek Jeter, Mickey Mantle. That's it. Those are all of them. Robinson Cano. Jorge Posada. How could you sleep on the Yankees? Oh wow, I missed that putt. I guess God doesn't love me anymore. Well, I guess everything went to shit because God doesn't love me anymore, but oh, whatever. Oh, I guess, oh, you can... I guess it doesn't even fucking matter because, oh, God found somebody else. I thought I was special, God. I thought I was your special someone. I thought I was your special someone, God. Don't you remember when you gave me that carnation on Valentine's Day? You're really a card. God's really a pip. But you know, and then I tried to talk to you about it later, but then you got all insecure. God's really insecure. Most people don't know about that. He just needs he's very needy. God is so needy. I thought that you loved me. God. You're the reason for these teardrops on my guitar. God's the reason for my teardrops on my guitar. I thought he loved me. I thought you were the one. I thought I didn't have to look anymore. I thought I found love. Will I find love? Yes, I thought at one time. Not anymore. I have to go back on The Bachelor. And I have to go back on The Bachelor. And some people do that. Some people on this earth have gone back onto it. Either the Bachelor or The Bachelorette. There are some people walking on the earth right now that they had that moment where they're like, oh God, now I have to go back on The Bachelor. I just did it. And most of them are people that they were there the length of the show. So then they're like, oh, fuck, I am going back on The Bachelor. Here's the thing, though. But here's the real reason that I'm on here right now. Is because people are afraid of the word pajamas. That's just a fact. They call it PJs. Pajamas is a 7-letter word. You don't need to shorten that. Bananas is a silly 7-letter word. We don't call bananas BNs. What? How many 7-letter words are we shortening? And then we're like, oh, we use it. Everybody knows that code. Like PJs. To belittle pajamas. Yeah. Oh yeah. I bet you're sitting in your PJs at home. People are afraid of the word pajamas, and for good reason. It's because pajamas used to just be what you slept in, but now pajamas are what you wear just when you're walking around your house. They're claiming more territory. It's growing. Pretty soon, before you know it, pajamas are going to escape the home. They're just going to go out into the streets, start claiming all kinds of different clothes that people are wearing. Before you know it, pajamas are just going to be everywhere. They're like, it's a trend to watch out for. Because, reason being, here's the thing, like, because it would be horrible to wake up one day and realize that all of the clothes that we were wearing the whole time were actually just pajamas, which might be the conclusion of this all. I would wager that it does have something to do with that, seeing the amount that people need to control the word pajamas by belittling it to call it PJs. Control it, keep it limited. We're scared of where this trend is going. Act like it's our little brother or something. Yeah, PJs. Because that's the trend. Watch out. PJs are showing up everywhere. I would imagine. PJs are gonna come to your back door. PJs for pajamas. What's that about? What's going on? Where are we? Is it because of the pandemic? What happened during the pandemic? Wait, what happened? Those were strange times during the pandemic. Oh my god, the pandemic happened. Wait a minute, the pandemic. But don't forget about the pandemic. Hey, wait, but don't forget about the pandemic. Things are different ever since the pandemic. Things changed after the pandemic. The pandemic, as if there's only one of them. It's got to be the shittiest pandemic of all time. It's based around a disease that barely even happened. It's based around a disease that was just the flu that they kind of recategorize once they released it onto the world. I mean, it was a synthetic pandemic. They should just call it the synthetic pandemic, the Velvet Underground. No, they shouldn't call it that, really. The pandemic, not the pandemic. Did you hear about the pandemic? The pandemic happened. We're all gonna go do shots for the pandemic. Jägermeister for the pandemic. Did you hear about the pandemic? It killed a lot of lives. It claimed very many. It's like the Spanish flu was fucking worse, and that was real, and people did not have any answers for real. But this is the pandemic. Obviously, anybody... they probably weren't even calling the pandemic when it was the Spanish flu. They probably didn't circulate the term. The term circulated as fast as the virus did, in this case. Everyone's like, the word pandemic was like a virus that spread where everybody's like, we are now in the pandemic. Remember when it happened, and remember when it was tough for us because of the pandemic? At this point, it's really just a distant, hopefully, we should look at it as a distant memory. I do declare. Get on that green now. Roll up there. Keep rolling. I cannot wait for the pandemic. Because 2019, everybody's like, oh, nothing's gonna happen to us ever. And now we're all like, now we're jaded. We've seen it. We're like, something bad can happen, actually. We lived it. Even though it wasn't that bad. It's not, it's actually easier to have to be in your home. You have less responsibility. I wish that people probably wish the pandemic was still happening. Like a good portion of the world is probably like, oh, I hope it's still happening, because yeah, like the privileged group, but it's really just a lot of people. The entire thing is totally overblown. That everybody is like, oh, wow, how horrible when that happened. A lot of people had an easy pandemic. Lots of people. Bananas in pajamas. I wonder what pervert made that one. I wonder what pervert made that cartoon. As God is my witness, I will join the Heaven's Gate cult. Just kidding. But God abandoned me, so I can make promises at behest of God. God, I thought you wanted me on your team. I don't know if I'm on God's team anymore. I might have chosen evil. I might have chosen the evil path, and I'm not really so much on God's side. You know, and it was fun while it lasted to be on God's team, but... and I wouldn't trade it for anything, but... Got that monkey off my back. The God monkey. Yes, it is fun to power through. It is fun to power through the barriers of life with your words. Use your words. Communicate. Bust through that wall. If you can't do it physically, use your words. For real walls. Try to bust through a wall by using your words. Use your words to break free. Break free using your words. Cut through all of the BS. I'm losing the ability to make sense in the later minutes of this podcast. I did generally just explain. It was probably more that maybe the entire thing sounded convoluted. It's just my life can be convoluted, but at the end of the day, we're all still human. Yes. Yes, I'm losing my power in the waning moments, or whatever. I'm just not powering through to the end. It's a drama that I'm putting on. This is a show starring me. But Columbus, Ohio seems like a fairly Christian city, and I could talk about it for a while. I went to see an open mic for music to see if I could go and do a set at this open mic. And I could. I don't know if I want to. It was a little depressing. It was so low key. People that were singing an original song at this open mic where they just like have a guitar, they didn't try very hard to write good lyrics or expensive lyrics. Everybody was trying to be as blending in as possible. But I don't know anything about the rest of the music scene. But at this one place, it was depressing to watch people play music. I didn't know it'd be that depressing. Like, I could waltz into there tomorrow, when they have their open mics is on Tuesdays, and I could play a couple songs. You know, I guess I shouldn't knock it until I did it. It's just that this is just not the place to cover a modern R&B song in town. They don't care for that. They just want you to do the song and then move on with your life, and it's to the point that we don't ever have to think about you ever again. Get in there. Get in there. Yes. On that note, I will quit. I made a long putt. Thank you guys for listening. You guys are the best. I've had a good enough time today saying this episode. I love it. I love you all. I love it. Love what you do, and all of that. Bye-bye now.